Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ellie, aka Alchemy Swift, and I upload videos about all things Taylor Swift. For today's video, in honor of the Tortured Poets Department coming out in just a couple days, I decided that I would give you guys my predictions of kind of like what I think the album's gonna sound like and what different songs are gonna be about. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe because I upload videos about Taylor Swift literally like every single week. You don't want to miss any of them because they're all super fun. I am going to be vlogging the release day of the Tortured Poets Department, as I always do for new releases, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get on to the video. A lot of people have said that they think that it's going to sound like Folklore and Evermore based on the cover, but I personally do not think that it is going to. Wouldn't be mad if it did, but I also don't actively want it to sound like Folklore and Evermore. My dream is a like pop punk rock, like that kind of like genre from her. I think that would be really cool. What I actually think it's gonna be is probably pretty similar to Midnight's sonically, that like poppy but kind of like laid back pop, if that makes sense. Not entirely sure, but if it's like pop punk or rock, I would be absolutely overjoyed. The next one is that Loml. A lot of people have been speculating about what it stands for: love of my life, loss of my life, all those things. My prediction is that in the song, the acronym is going to be used like multiple times for multiple different meanings, if that makes sense. It'll start out about the love of her life, and then it'll eventually fade to the loss of her life. I think it's just gonna like, not like alternate, but it's gonna be like a progression of how like the same acronym can stand for like these different things, and it all describes like what she's going for and how she feels about this person. It's gonna be different like as it goes along, if that makes sense. The next prediction that I have is that the song, the manuscript, is going to be about this plan for their relationship, basically, because the manuscript is like your book that's like written before it's published. I think it's going to be like she has this idea of what everything, like what she wants it to be, what she wants it to look like, what she wants to happen. She's going to have this idea in her head planned out of how she wants the relationship to go and how she wants it to develop. And then something's gonna happen and that's not gonna be what actually happens. And so I think it's gonna be about kind of reconciling that idea of having this plan for something, whether it be a relationship, a friendship, just anything, honestly, and realizing that it doesn't always go as it's laid out in the manuscript. Next one is a prediction for the Alchemy. One of her big metaphors that she likes to use in her songs is about how love is golden. Deep blue, but you painted me golden. I once believed love would be black and white, but it's golden. Like all those. I think that this is gonna be about how the love that she thought was golden wasn't actually gold. It's gonna be like a whole metaphor situation because we know she loves her metaphors. Because Alchemy is like this like mythical, like Nicholas Flamel, like the girls who have read Harry Potter get it. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it because I don't know all like the technical stuff. I just know like the meaning and everything because like literature and whatnot. But basically it's the process of like turning something into something else, transforming it. This love that was gold, I think it's going to be how she thought it was gold and it seemed like she had like turned this horrible thing into gold. Then she realized that it was fake gold and it wasn't actually gold. Basically like it wasn't what she thought it was going to be, because in Harry Potter, for example, you have Nicholas Flamel and he's the maker of the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone if you're in the UK. I'm really not doing a good job of explaining this, I'm sorry. But he basically makes this elixir of life out of the Sorcerer's Stone through the process of alchemy. I think that it's gonna be, she essentially thought that this love was like her elixir of life, if you will, and it was like gonna make her immortal. Not like immortal in an actual sense, but immortal in the sense that she's like invincible and she's like happy finally and all those things. Thought that she was gonna be basically invincible, she was gonna love this man for the rest of her life, and then it turned out that this love that she thought was golden wasn't actually gold. The next one also kind of relates to Harry Potter. Can you guys tell that that was my previous obsession before Taylor Swift? The Black Dog, I think, is going to be about how she had this like despair and depression, if you will, but it ended up bringing her comfort and being a good thing for her. In Harry Potter, spoiler alert for anyone who has not read like the third book. Basically, there is this black dog that Harry keeps seeing, and it's the Grim. It's like a death omen, if you will. And so people say that if you see the Grim, then it means that you're gonna die. He gets super freaked out. He's like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna die. This thing is like chasing me, like what's going on? And like he tries to pretend that it doesn't bother him, but like it secretly kind of does. He's like, what is going on? And there's like Dementors and like that whole thing. But essentially what he finds out is that the black dog is not actually a dog. It's actually his godfather, Sirius, who Sirius actually is named after the constellation in the sky that's like the dog, you know? He actually just escaped from prison, but he's been following Harry around and trying to kind of like keep him safe and like make sure that he's okay and like look out for him, and it becoming super, super close. He is basically like a parent for Harry almost. So I think that the black dog is gonna kind of be like almost an allegory for that, like in a way, but basically a song about how she had like this metaphorical black dog that was like trailing her, and she felt like so scared and like lost and alone and all these things, and then it turns out that she actually was comforted by it. So essentially her old music that she wrote that was like love songs about this previous relationship is going to be that black dog that's like following her kind of, and she's gonna be like, oh my gosh, like this makes me feel horrible. But then she realizes that music is what's at the heart of it, and it's not about the person she wrote it about, it's about those feelings, and she's gonna realize that like she can attain those feelings again. Next one is the title track, The Tortured Poets Department. I have this little like headcanon like fantasy thing. There's gonna be, you know how like in Better Than Revenge it like starts out and she's like talking? That's like my dream, is that it would start with her talking. So my little headcanon is that it's gonna be like a voicemail recording kind of thing, and there's gonna be like a little like voicemail like tone thing, and it's gonna say like, oh, you've reached the Tortured Poets Department, chairman speaking, and then it's gonna like turn it into the song. I feel like that would be really, really cool and just kind of like a good way to like introduce the album as a whole. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I feel like it would be really cool if it did. If there's noise, by the way, like in the background, I'm sorry, my neighbor is mowing the lawn and I'm filming like right by my window, so that's why. Okay, next one is that I think the song Florida is going to be kind of like a political commentary-ish, but like not entirely. If you don't live in the United States, you probably don't know this, and if you're not like super familiar with politics, you probably don't know this, but basically like in the United States, like the northern states are like the more liberal and the southern states are the more like conservative. It depends on like where you fall, obviously, with your beliefs. Personally, my beliefs are more liberal, but I don't tell people what to believe. I don't care what you believe. In Florida, people tend to be very, very conservative, but a lot of the rest of the country tends to look at Florida as kind of like this like crazy state. First of all, there's all these like random laws, and not like random laws, but like laws that a lot of people in other parts of the United States don't think that should be laws. And then there's also like the cliche like crazy like Florida man stories, which if you haven't like looked up some of these, they're so funny. My brother looked one up one time. It was like Florida man fights with alligator over a bagel, or like something completely random. There's all these like crazy Florida man stories, and then Florida itself is just kind of interesting politically. So I think she's going to kind of comment on that, but like not entirely. There's gonna be like this metaphor like about Florida, and it's gonna be like, I don't know, like at least I'm not in Florida kind of a vibe. She'll be like, oh my gosh, like my life sucks, but hey, at least I'm not in Florida. I don't know. That's kind of where my brain goes with it, but I'm curious to see if like what it actually is, because I don't really know like what else it would be. Next song that I have a prediction for is Guilty as Sin. This one I think is going to be kind of like a reflection song almost, and she's going to be looking back on herself and looking back on her relationship and wondering kind of if she did anything wrong, and just like, I don't think I did stuff wrong, like, and so it's going to be like a, I don't know, kind of looking back, like should she feel guilty or should he feel guilty, like who went wrong kind of a situation. The next one is that I think So Long London, obviously it's a track 5, so it's gonna be sad, but I think that instead of having it be about her relationship that she just lost, I think it's going to focus more on the different things that she lost because she lost the relationship. It's not about like the person specifically, but it's gonna be about all the things that came with that person, mutual friends that you have, places that you used to go to, especially London, being as like she is a US citizen, and obviously when they were together she spent so much of her time in London. I think London itself is a really good way for her to kind of like make that into a metaphor and say she's saying goodbye to London because she's saying goodbye to all the things that came with that relationship, because if it weren't for that relationship, she wouldn't have been spending so much time in the UK. She's gonna be reflecting on things that they did, places they went, and like the idea of Cornelia Street, where she was like, I'd never walk Cornelia Street again. Basically, like, she's never gonna be in London again, even though like she probably will go to London, but it's not gonna be the same London because it's not like with him, you know, like it's not like the London that like they had. It's gonna be just London instead. And then last song prediction is, I think that her song I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, first of all, it's track 13, which I'm super excited about because obviously like 13 is special to her, but I think it's going to be about the Eras Tour and how she was able to perform all those songs still, even though her whole world was kind of crumbling around her. If you have a relationship that lasts like 4 years, however many years, and that relationship ends, like even if the relationship needed to end, you're not going to be the same person that you were before the relationship. Like immediately after, you're not just going to be like, okay, I'm fine now. Like it's going to take a little bit to heal and it's going to be difficult for a while, even if like it was coming and it was mutual, there was no like big fight or disagreement or anything, it was just like a mutual like parting of ways. I still think that there is like a lot of heartbreak there, just because when you're like know someone for that long and they're like your entire life for that long, like that's a long time. I think I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is going to be about the Eras Tour as a whole, and kind of also similar to Long Live in the fact that Long Live is about her band and the fans and like everything like that. I think it's going to be kind of similar, how like her bandmates were there for her, seeing like little girls' faces light up when they see her, how it like reminded her kind of why she does what she does. I think it's going to be kind of reflective in that sense of her realizing, like, hey, this is why I do all these things. Like, I do it for the people versus like she just did it because she had to. Like, she's going to be like, I can do it with a broken heart, and she's going to realize that like these things bring her comfort and she doesn't necessarily need that person because she has all these other stuff. And then this is kind of an honorable mention. This is not my prediction. This is my little brother's prediction. But for background, my little brother, he's 6 years old and he loves Fortnite. He's been playing since he was like 2. He played on my dad's iPad, and Apple and Fortnite had their whole lawsuit thing. He started playing on the Nintendo Switch. Eventually he switched to my brother's PlayStation. So he's like really good at Fortnite. Anyway, just background on that. He is convinced that because Taylor has a song called Fortnite, even though it's not the same Fortnite as like Fortnite the game is spelled, he is convinced that Taylor is going to kind of do like a collab with Fortnite. Different artists have done this in the past, Ariana Grande, for example, but basically they do like a in-game concert type thing, and he's convinced that Taylor is going to do that, and there's going to be a Taylor skin and like all these things. We'll see if he's right. I told him if he's right, I will drive him to the store and buy him a V-Buck card so that he can get the Taylor skin, because he plays on my account. I don't play anymore, but he plays on my account. So obviously I want to have the Taylor skin on my account. So I told him I would drive him to the store and get him a V-Buck card so that we can get the Taylor skin, if that happens. Alright, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was entertaining to watch. I'm so excited to see which of my predictions carry over and actually happen, and which of them are like completely out there and not correct at all. I honestly like have no idea. These are just for fun as always. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a thumbs up and comment down below some of your predictions, or if you agree, disagree, whatever. And subscribe if you weren't already, because you made it to the end of the video, so you might as well, because you obviously enjoyed watching it. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!